Thank you so much for being here. And this is one great evening with another great expert, another one more master, fantastic master. And since we committed that we'll be bringing you, bringing you people who have really seen life firsthand and who have really experienced the transformation firsthand. I'm sure this is going to be one more fantastic journey with another leader, thought leader, a business coach, and India's first dreampreneur and a motivational speaker. Well, he has something that is most important and which resonates with me and with many of us, but something that we can really learn a lot from this master. And that is, you might have heard lots of stories of people making their journeys. These this story kind of resonates with most Indians who have been watching Bollywood movies for years together. And I'm sure today's meeting is going to be a great story that we all are going to align with, and something that we'll find so interesting that we are here for a great show as well as for a great learning episode. And uh, this gentleman who I'm going to introduce you is probably someone who has seen life from, he has his own story of rags to riches, and someone who has gone from being homeless to being an inspirer, a transformational leader, for somebody who has intervened lives at the right time and probably has inspired thousands of people, who has touched over 50,000 people in the last 8 years, and continues to do so, and who has a strong mission of transforming lives. And this he does through his talks, through his writings, through his one-on-one coaching with various strategies from NLP, from his own experience, that he kind of makes a right blend of. And he helps people, connect with their real selves, connect with their real potential, and expose their real self to the universe. And this is something most important that we wanted to bring through our series called Moments with Masters. And we wanted to discover not just their techniques and not just their strategies, but we wanted to dig deeper into their minds. And what the question I always had when I wanted to interview these people or these experts was only one thing: how am I going to let people discover what made these masters who they are today? Because there are times when you become an expert, and when you have touched thousands of lives, people start believing that you are the way you were, and probably you are who you are right from the very beginning. But the opposite is mostly true in most of the cases. And that's exactly why we bring you our today's expert, who never had this kind of success, who never was believed to become one of these experts who has touched hundreds and thousands of lives. But he kind of experimented with life, he kind of explored life firsthand, and he kind of paved his own path. And that's why we call him a master. And that's why we wanted to introduce you to today's expert, who might be using hundreds of strategies to help people understand what their real potential is. But the real reason is he himself. The way he connects with people, the way he helps people understand who they are from within, is most important to us. And in this next 60 minutes of episode, in this next 60 minutes of understanding, we are actually going to listen for those secrets which probably are hidden deep down within him, and probably we would want to know more from him into what all went into making him who he is today, and how probably we might also employ the same things, or even if we don't employ, probably we might start zeroing in onto who we are by looking at somebody, by emulating somebody, by learning our lessons of understanding and bringing out our real potential. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would want to welcome our today's expert, our today's master, our today's guest speaker, Pankaj Asija.
Hi, thank you very much, Ranjan. Thank you very much. I lovely to be here and I feel very energetic looking at you. I'm very happy that audience has come to watch us, and I'm glad and privileged to be interviewed by you. Wonderful, wonderful. Really
Thank you,
happy.
thank you, thank you, Pankaj. This is a great, it's a celebration of potential. It's a celebration of, that reality which makes us who we are. And probably we are going to celebrate the next 60 minutes, understanding more of who you are as a person and what brings you here to this stage where you are touching thousands of lives. And we would actually want to go back to those days, when life was tough and when life never seemed that never you never saw hope, but probably you kept going on, and probably you turned yourself into that buoyant personality, that buoyant person who kept floating on the circumstances. And today you reach a position where you inspire thousands of people, and you are who you are today, the expert and the master, where we welcome you into this Moments with Masters, brought to you by Mysticfusion International. Welcome, Pankaj, and we would want you to take us, all of us, onto this journey into that life which nobody must have seen, into that life of Pankaj Asija.
Thank you very much, Ranjan, for this warm welcome. And along with the welcome, you have already asked a question. When the life was tough, what was the journey? I believe life was never tough. It was teaching me that time. It was basically teaching me how to go further. It was teaching me how to build a personality. Because if you have not gone through the circumstances, you cannot ever help the people. I mean, you can only inspire people when you have undergone. You can only feel the pain of people and the problem of people when you have undergone that. And I'm very blessed that I underwent those issues, because today those issues seems to be very small for me. And just because of that, I'm able to help inspire others. The tough time, if you I give it a name of tough time, but I want to give it a name of teaching time. My learning time, and the life was teaching me. Life is still today teaching me, but that particular time which life made me an iron man, like an iron man. It was 26th July 1988, right after the 11 months, less than 11 months, even 10 months 28 days, when I lost my father. And when I lost my father, I lost my family lost and all the business. We lost the relatives. We lost our house, and we were on the road. I have a 5-year elder sister to me. She was 6 that time. The time my father passed away, I was 11, 10 months 28 days. My mother, she was young, beautiful lady. She is still today too beautiful. Although she is living her life very beautiful now, yeah, she's a bit old, like 60 around. My mother was so strong that she did not go for the remarriage. She started giving us a lessons. She tells, and my neighbors told me, after my father's death, we stayed, I think, 4 to 5 days out of the home, I mean, without any shelter. So villagers of that particular village gave us food and they gave us shelter to sleep. After 4 5 days, we managed to get one mosque. It was a closed mosque, which was closed and abandoned by the British, like when the British rule was there in 1947, just before the British rule, India and Pakistan division happened, and then a lot of uh, mosques were abandoned here. So we got a shelter in those mosques. I'm very happy. I'm very happy by being a Hindu child. I was brought up particularly in a mosque. That brings secularism, and today I respect all the religions just because of that. Because being a Hindu uh, human, like being a Hindu man, I have been brought up in a mosque. So I got the shelter in the mosque for next 16 years, and there I started working when I was 11-year old along with my mother. I started working when I was 15-year old, all independently as a sweeper. Then I worked as a fuel filler at a fuel pump, then coal center. Then I started a PSCL. My institute name is PSCL. I started Personality Development Institute, and we added a lot of other courses. Somebody else helped me to unleash my potential of becoming a speaker. He said, Pankaj, I believe you can become a speaker. You can share your story, can inspire others, can tell how did you handle these situations and how did you take the decisions. And I started doing the same. The time I myself started realizing my own potential, that everything in front of you now. For the last 8 years, like I've traveled a lot of other countries to speak. I've delivered keynotes, corporates. I've touched a lot of corporates. I've done the open seminars and webinars where I have approximately touched 50,000 people so far. So this was a life learning from the tough time, and this life learning has basically built me. Until today, learning. A lot of people are tense today because of COVID-19, and I feel this is definitely unleashing something which nobody could unleash sometime. The education online, and you see, like it's a wonderful time. I got into touch of a lot of other speakers all over the India just because of this COVID-19. We all came online. We started having our own show. Like you have your show, Moments with Masters. I have my show, the Pankaj Asija show. So like this, I've been the part of multiple shows now, gone to multiple shows. So COVID-19 has definitely given us the different horizon and build another vertical to look at the life, build another vertical to look at this world, and got the relationships, lot of relationships now. I got the friend like you. Yeah, COVID-19. If COVID-19 would had not been there, we would not have got in touch, I believe, right? So I say it's never a tough time in our life. It's a learning time. It depends on our perception, the way we look at this. The way you look at the things will look to you. If you look at the things with the difficult words, they will seem very difficult, but if you look at the things with the fun, they'll seem very funny to you. And this is same happening today, and everybody who are watching this show. And first of all, I would say that I'm so thankful you have come and started watching the show, because I'm nothing, Mr. Ranjan is nothing without our audience, without people who are listening to you. So I want to give you the gratitude for starting watching the show. Let's be here for the next 55 minutes to 60 minutes. So all the people who are watching this show understand that, take COVID-19 a very positively and see what options COVID-19 has given you. So it is going to be beautiful. It's never a tough time. It's a learning time.
Yeah, Pankaj, I understand how difficult it could have been, or it should. I mean, it might have been for a mom, for a mother, raising her kids as a single mother in a mosque, finding a shelter outside. And I know that those days were not that easy even, and the way we are enjoying the luxuries outside these days. I understand the pain of a mother going that way, because honestly, I have been a single parent raising two kids for last 4 years, and I understand the pain even these days. So I can understand, I can see what your mother might have gone through. Now, in addition to, see, now that you understand, you survived in a mosque for those many years in those days, and you kind of, you are brought up by a mother who fought with the circumstances, and probably even demonstrated how you can do that for your life in front of you, by executing that. And you had that role model of mother in front of you while growing up, and you saw, in the initial stages, you might have seen life through her eyes and through her perspective, and the way she fought with life, and you might have got a little idea from that, unknowingly, unconsciously. But I would want to dig further and understand, when you just said that you found a mentor who helped you understand, Pankaj, this is how you can do it. We would want to know that story with your teachers or your trainers or your mentors, and what was their role in carving, in designing and shaping that Pankaj who is touching, who has touched over 50,000 lives today.
See, I was traveling. Excuse me. I was traveling from Mumbai to Delhi, and in the same flight, one gentleman was sitting next to me, and I was reading a book. The gentleman asked me, "So, hey, you young man, what do you do?" I said, like, I'm a personality development trainer. This is I'm talking about year 2010. It happened 10 years before. I said, I am a personality development trainer. I teach people a couple of things like this and this and that. So he asked me another question. Did you always want to become a personality development trainer? I said, no. And I started criticizing circumstances, finances. I started criticizing the reservation system because I was a medical student. I was preparing for PMT. I qualified pre-medical test in year 2005, and but I was not able to get that rank that I could get easily admission in the government college. I was basically getting a semi-government college where the fee was 70,000 rupees per annum, and I I mean, I know that I could not manage it. I tried my level best to manage the money from the relatives. I tried my level best to manage the money from the bank. And that time I came to know only rich people and people who have money in the India can easily get a loan from the bank. And most needy people don't get because they need security, house security, that security. I could not manage that. But somebody who was having the reservation, my rank was 178, his rank was 210. He got admission into government college. I could not get. So I started criticizing government, these government policies, reservation, finances, money, my family issues, relatives. The next question was very profound, which transformed my life by this gentleman. He asked me, if you had become a doctor, what would you have done? And I started thinking, like, why did I want to become a doctor? I mean, his main thing was there, what is the purpose of becoming a doctor? And the time he asked me, what is the purpose of becoming a doctor? If you had become a doctor, what would you have done? And it shook me completely. And I came back. Like, he was completely unknown to me. I've never come across him again. But I kept on thinking. After 3 days, I got an answer. After becoming a doctor, I wanted to help people who cannot afford treatment. I basically would have taught those kids who are preparing for PMT, but they cannot afford the education of the PMT. I would have guided them how to get admission into government college. My main motive was to help, support, guide, uplift people, and those people particularly who are going through the same circumstances I have gone through, who are going through the financial circumstances, financial crisis, and that made me realize, like, my purpose is different. My purpose is to help people, to guide people, to support people. In the same time, I came across multiple counselors. I myself took admission into Jawaharlal Nehru University, Delhi, and I started studying psychology. And there, my teacher, Mr. Mehtani, was sitting with me, and I asked him, "So, sir, my purpose I have found. I have found like I'm on a different path. My path should be different." So we had I think on that day 7 to 8 hour conversation without having food, without having water, because he was so deeply involved in guiding me, in mentoring me. And after 8 hours, I realized I should become a speaker who can inspire people. I should become a person who can guide people. I should not be in the four walls of my institute only teaching people about the personality. That time, I decided to become a speaker, and that particular Mr. Mehtani helped me a lot. But this was not enough. You know that I did not have an idea of becoming a speaker. Although I got the chance to speak in the university in same year in 2010, but I failed as a speaker. I could not speak on the stage. I started shivering. My body started having sweating, and I forgot my content. Then I realized that I need to learn about speaking. I need to learn about public speaking. I need to learn about leadership. I started taking coachings. I joined the coaching program of Jack and Field, Anthony Robbins, went through the NLP process. Jack and Phil taught me about the psychology in deep, and he told me about the success principles. The book also he has written on the same, and that period was very nice, very nice. Then I got a chance to meet Robert Kawasaki. I attended his 3 days workshop. I multiple times I attended the program of Anthony Robbins then, and there I started understanding a couple of things. I started understanding about speaking, teaching, training, and coaching profession. I understood that teaching is not only the to enter in the classroom and teach. Teaching is entirely different. Coaching is entirely different. Training is entirely different. Speaking is entirely different. And then I started mastering on these skills after taking coachings from different programs. I attended a lot of conferences, conventions to understand this deeply. I invested lot more time. Year 2010, I started investing, and till today, I have been investing. Even I know the things, but I invest money to learn more. I think like if 3 days workshop I'm going to attend, if one thing I get which would bring that spark in my life, which would basically bring some transformation in mindset, so I should do it. So I am till today on the stage of having a lot of mentors. I truly say that I have got a lot of mentors. A lot of my friends have mentored me. A lot of my colleagues are mentoring me. And then particular mentor, I always give credit to Jack Anfield and Anthony Robbins, who have basically shaped me as a speaker and coach. I on this journey, I came to know about the Professional Speaker Association of India. The time this association started, I became the member of this association, and it had their first convention in year 2019. I was a part of the convention, and in 2020, Fab 2020, first Fab, second Fab 2020, I got a privilege to even organize the convention. I was the core committee member of this PSS 2020. So there I came into the touch of Frederick Harren in 2019. Then I joined him in the Singapore after joining APSS, Asia Professional Speakers Association of Singapore. And Frederick Harren has, I mean, he is the man who has, I mean, I say that he's a Wikipedia of the speaking industry, of the keynote speeches. He has got all those skills, and he teaches those in such a wonderful way, fantabulously. All the people who want to be a speaker, I would recommend you to go to www.frederickharren.com and watch his profile, and you'll be getting some of the links to read the blogs about public speaking, professional speaking, global speaking, and understand, read the basically content and understand the context, and then implement it. So these all are the things which have helped me. James Taylor, Frederick Harren, Jack Anfield, Anthony Robbins. Then the biggest mentor, biggest guide to my life is one book. I am an avid reader. I love reading books. So far, I've read around 2,000 titles of the different books. But one book which I give the old credit is Srimad Bhagavad Gita. If you are in the financial crisis you're facing, read it. You'll feel relaxed and you'll get some sources to make money. If you are
Pankaj,
having,
sorry interrupting you. I think this is growing more and more interesting. At this point, I just want to, yeah, your video was stuck for a long time.
oh,
It has just, yeah, it's good now. It's good now. Yeah, I would
great.
want you to repeat that last point where we were talking about the book. Yes.
Book, I am an avid reader, I was saying, and I love reading books. I love reading books. And one book which I would give the credit and master of all the books is Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Whatever the problem you're facing in the life, read it. You'll always get the solution of your problem. You want to get a leadership lesson, read Bhagavad Gita. You want to get a communication lesson, read Bhagavad Gita. You want to learn about the financial management, read Bhagavad Gita. You want to learn about relationship, read Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita is so profound, so nice, so wonderful book. I think this is the book I say always mentors me whenever I'm in some problem. See, everybody has a problem, everybody feels low. I also feel low, although on my profile it seems like this person would never have a tension, but my audience, I would tell you, all the speakers, all motivation speaker, all leadership consultants face some issues, they feel low. So whenever I feel low, I read Bhagavad Gita, and I always get the solution to my problems. So there are a couple of mentors I have mentioned: Jack Anfield, Anthony Robbins, then Frederick Harren, James Taylor. Then my friends, Vikas Jain has been a very good friend of mine who introduced me to Professional Speaker Association of India, and he has mentored me a lot. Then a lot of other people, and then one book, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. I would recommend each and everybody to read this. TV Ramakrishna, my favorite book too. Keep reading it, and my favorite too. You know, most people keep Bhagavad Gita wrapped in the red fabric, and they keep it somewhere, right? I would say never wrap it. The knowledge could not be wrapped, should not be wrapped. We just worship the book, Bhagavad Gita. Don't read it as a religious book, read it as a life management book. So it is going to teach you. Just you read as a religious book, you might not get a lot of learning from it.
Absolutely fantastic, Pankaj. I can't agree with you more because of late I have been talking to international coaches like Michael Neal, and I've been going through the work of Rich Litvin and Jerry Smart and all these people. And of late, last about 2 years ago, I was introduced to this work by on three principles by Sydney Banks. And after having gone through all these things, I found that I have been reading. I've been a big fan of Bhagavad Gita for over from I think 1997. It was I still remember it was 1997. I left my home actually to turn
Oh,
I left my home to turn a monk in Ramakrishna Mutt, Hyderabad. And I stayed a few days as a monk in Ramakrishna Mutt, and I was initiated by the then Vice President Swami Ranganathananda, who had written his own commentary on Bhagavad Gita. And since that day to this day, the meaning changes as you keep evolving. But that is one book I find that all these international books on clarity actually speak about. And this I can call the world's best clarity manual is Bhagavad Gita. And
Bhagavad
that's
Gita, right?
probably why when each time you go back to that, you come up with more clarity of life. But there is something interesting I would want to come back to, Pankaj. You have spoken about having attended workshops of names like Jack Canfield, Anthony Robbins, and Robert Kiyosaki. These are probably names which most people dream about and they read about, and they at some point they want to see themselves, they see them at least physically. Now you have been with them, you have attended their workshops. My question to you is, this one show, let me be very honest, we are here to steal some of your mind and steal some of your experiences. So please bear with us, and because we are thieves
You
here,
you don't
we
need to
are
you don't need to steal it. You don't need to steal
so
it. I'm going
so
to tell you
so
everything.
yeah, so I'm just a moderator here to help people steal that information from you. So you know now the biggest robbery that we want to do is that we want to understand what was your experience of them as people, and what were some of the things that you learned by the way they manage themselves, or they run their lives, or they handle themselves through this journey of transformation, and something about them which you noticed and which was transformational for you from them.
The very first thing, their humility, their humbleness, that transformed me. I mean, what I have realized, see, taking my own example, the time I was getting success, I was a bit growing. My name was, I was getting ground. There was something which was coming in my mind. This is called I. I thought like now people know me, they take my autograph, they take my selfie, do this and that and all. So that was my nature. I believe, like, I don't know, that was my nature, or by looking at others, I started behaving in the same way. But after meeting Jack and Field, one of the top speaker of the world, one of the top coach of the world, Jack and Field, he's so humble, no drama, no melodrama, wears very simple clothes, sits anywhere, talks anything. He's so humble, so genuine, so honest. He told in the very first day, the very first sentence, be authentic, be humble. All the coaches and speakers belong to people. Don't think that you have become so big. You are becoming big just because of that. So whenever they give you call, wherever you sit, don't do any drama, don't do any show off. Be humble. The same Robert Kiyosaki, so humble, no, so gentle. He does not show off his money he has. But we people, like, if you make someday the big money, or you make a good money in 1 year, next year, or like within that year, you might plan to buy the biggest car in your community, and you flaunt that car. Like I do it, I used to do it. See, it's I've seen like a lot of people are doing. We people do in the same this thing, but Robert Kiyosaki, Jack and Field are quite away from these things, quite away. So one thing which has transformed in like in my life, they have brought the transformation in my personal life is humbleness, is the humility. I mean, No, mean they don't wear three-piece suit go on the stage. No, they wear a simple trouser and shirt, half sleeve, and then go. So this is the thing which brought a big change in my life. From there, like not from the coaching, just by observing them. Same with Anthony Robbins and Frederick Harran I was talking about. He's the one who bought the island in Sweden. He owns an island. He was the president of APSS. He charges around 25 lakh to 35 lakh rupee for one keynote. And so humble, so humble. He sits with you, takes food with you, and he does not believe in that drama of wearing three-piece suit. So I believe this was lacking in me in my beginning of my life, of my career, like in 2012 or 13 when I was gaining ground. But the time I met Jack in year 2013, then Anthony, then Robert, then Frederick, this entirely transformed. Now today, you tell me to speak on the stage, I might not go. I might go in the sleeper, like bathroom sleeper on the stage to speak. I believe people believe in content. Now, like anybody, you give me the phone call anytime, I'll be always there to, I mean, if anyone gives the phone call, it's not about like you are my good friend now, you give the call, definitely the things are going to take another shape. Anyone gives me the call at like the time I'm sleeping, that's another way. Otherwise, I wake up in morning at 4:30. My first job I do is to reply each and every message I received while I was sleeping. So that's the humbleness I got from Jack. That's Robert Kiyosaki. And they are wonderful people.
Absolutely agree with you, Pankaj, because I was recently reading a work where I came to know that if you've heard Steve Hardison, one of world's top coaches, and he is called to be the ultimate coach. And somebody asked him once, like, what could be that one quality, one trait you would say which can make anybody extraordinary? And he said humility. Humility is that one quality. If you can understand what it is, if you can live that quality, probably there is no going back, and probably there is nothing probably far more important than that. And I absolutely agree with you. uh, this
I
reminds
want
me
to,
of, yeah,
please.
this reminds me of when I was there for a few months in Ramakrishna Mission, Hyderabad, as a monk. I was on my first day. I was taken to Swami Ranganathananda's room. By then he was the world vice president, and he was about 91 years old then. I'm talking about long back. And when we were taken into the room, he was 91 years old, unbelievably, and I could see half his room filled with books. And
Oh,
this frail old man sitting with this big volume of a book in his lap, and he was seriously. I mean, he didn't even notice our entering the room. That was a kind of focus with which he was reading. But then, when I was introduced to him, he put aside his book, and you won't believe those 10 minutes that he looked into my eyes and the way he spoke with me. I never can forget that, because that was such with such humility, as if a child is talking to another child. And there was, if anybody knows the library, Vivekananda Library of Hyderabad, it said that half the books of Vivekananda Library are actually the books which were read and donated by Swami Ranganathananda. That's
oh,
the
great.
volume of books that he has read. And this learned person talks to me like a child. And this was a great example for me that you can never be learned enough to be arrogant. And
Right, right, right.
the moment you're arrogant, all your knowledge has gone into wind. And I'm sure you had some fantastic experiences with these international leaders who people watch on YouTube and people are inspired from, and you have been there talking to them, you have had food with them, and you have seen them living what they actually preach. In these lot many years, what is what is that one profound insight you would want to share about, like last 1 year, when I was looking at what is exactly is my message of life, I found that my message is authenticity and self-leadership. So I kind of blended them both, and I made this authentic self-leadership as my core area that I would want people to develop within themselves. Now, in your, since you said authenticity and leadership, I would want you to share your that profound insight about leadership which changed your life and brought you to focus more on leadership and personal transformation.
See, I told you that I started my career, like teaching career, with a personality development institute as a personality development coach. And in personality development, we basically used to talk about the communication in the beginning a lot. And when I got into the touch of my old mentors, I believed, and my belief became very strong. The communication is very important. The time I started studying about the leadership, one a very basic tool for the leadership is a communication. Is a communication. The time uh, your communication improves like a leader, your authentic communication as a leader, you can transform anybody. You see, George Bush, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, even Mahatma Gandhi. How did they become the leader? Everybody has a vision. You, I, everybody in this world has a vision. Nelson Mandela, everybody has a vision. Why are we not sitting like them? Why are we not up to that level? First thing is about the vision. The second thing, we don't have the tool of the communication, the tool they had to connect, to inspire people in just a couple of minutes with one or two sentences. They did it. So communication which connect human to human, the communication which even reflects your humility, humbleness, leadership. So I believe every leader, I mean, if your communication is good, you are a leader. The first thing is that your communication is good, you are a leader. The way you talk to people, the way you convey your message to people, the way you connect with the people, the way you connect to yourself, the way you talk to yourself every morning, every evening, whenever you have a time to talk to yourself. So that is building you as a leader. That is making you as a leader. So these are the, like, people think leadership is a very difficult thing or very top thing. All the basic foundations of the leadership start from a very basics level. When all profound leaders always talk about authenticity, humbleness, empathy, the communication. They never talk about, okay, go motivate the team. No, 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 no. They say, go talk to the team, understand them, communicate well to them, make them feel they're important. So this is all we can do through our good communication. So I believe the very important thing in the leadership is the communication. That's why I started teaching people now, be a powerful communicator and powerful speaker to be a great leader. What I have implemented in my life, I love to teach that. And that brings authenticity, that because your communication reflects everything who you are.
So who I would like to ask, who is that leader that you look up to, or who is that master you look up to and you consider your role model when it comes to leadership?
Leadership, whenever it comes to leadership, Barack Obama, I love him the most. The way he connects to people, the way he looks at the problem, and he basically then executes his plans. In every place he plans it, he executes the plan. He does not show off anything. He does not say that I will do this. He does it. The time, like, why he was the most favorite president in the like the time, as long as I can observe these old presidencies, after my 20, I've seen the most loved president of the USA has ever been in the last 15 years or 20 years is Barack Obama. Why? They have a policy. USA has a policy that you cannot become a third time president. What are the key roles of a good leader? I'm going to definitely tell you, Dr. B.S. Panda. I'm going to tell you. Uh, See, so Barack Obama, I look up to him. I always watches his again and again his speeches. I love watching him, and the way he delivers the message and understands the problem, executes. I love reading about him. I love listening to him. So Barack Obama is my favorite leader. Then Dhoni in our Indian team, the master, I would say the cool captain, Dhoni has shown the true leadership. He never lost his temper. He has always been so cool, and he handles the problem so well. He communicates to the team so well. Under his leadership, the team was very happy. So this is the true example of leadership. I love Dhoni. I love Barack Obama. After Barack Obama is comes a Dhoni. MS Dhoni has shown the true leadership.
I'm sure, like, communication, unless I'm reminded of this one more personality from US, Oprah Winfrey, and
Right, Oprah Winfrey, right?
Oprah Winfrey. And these all people have, if we speak of our own leader Mahatma Gandhi or Abdul Kalam ji, so to say, the way they communicated, the way they made it very simple for people to understand, directly. That's probably why they might not be mass leaders, but they are someone who could easily connect with somebody. And this aspect of making authentic connection was probably one of the significant characteristic of leadership, and that really is something that anybody can start experiencing in their own lives, and anybody can start exploring as their first step towards leadership. And I would want you to share. Yeah, Dr. B.S. Panda has asked, what are the key roles of a good leader? I think we can answer this question before we take on a further question from me.
See, key role of a leader is to keep people at a high with a high spirit. Key role of a leader, if let's say I talk about the leader in the family, what do you think a leader of the family should do? He should keep and maintain that calmness in the home, harmony in the home. And for these things, he has to first tell everyone how to talk to others. Then he has to develop empathy in everybody. Empathy is very important, very, very important. And we cannot teach, a leader cannot teach anybody to like to build the empathy. Leader can show that empathy as an example which people are going to copy. So in the family we need harmony, we need growth, we need always the people at the high spirit. In the family we do the same things, we communicate well, we show the empathy, we keep motivating people. We never tell people, no, you should not do this or you cannot do this. If the child is climbing the tree, a leader would say, a father obviously, or a mother obviously, or might be a grandfather or grandmother, if the person is not a true leader, would say, no, you should not climb, you'll fall down. But otherwise a leader would say, you see, right now you are 10-year-old and the tree is bit long. Do one thing, don't climb the top of the tree, but climb the first branch of the tree. But there is a risk, you might fall down, but you can try it again. So you see, but most people, what do they say? Don't climb the tree. So leaders always tell people, they inspire people to take action. They don't tell people not to take action. Leaders never say you are wrong. They say you are right with your perspective. Let's look at the different perception. If you are in the job or a business, in the business, your team member comes and tells you, sir, I did this and it happened in this way and I failed it. I am a big failure in this. A bossy person would say, you have never done it right, you do this and that and that and that and all. And leader would say, that's okay, people make mistakes. Now what do you think, what should we do? Because a client is going to lose his temper. Then the person, your team member, would say, so we can try it again, and I make sure, sir, I'll work at night so that the client does not loses the temper. And you say, no, why you stay at night alone? Let me help you. This is the true leadership. Now the person says, let me help you. Leaders understands people. That's why I use the word empathy here. The cognitive empathy, then emotional empathy, both are leadership. A good leadership reflects it. So I've told you a couple of things: the communication, then empathy. Even empathy is a part of the communication. They inspire people. They remain so authentic. They never tell people that, they never scold people. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, it reminds me about one incident. His scientist one day goes to him. You might have heard it. but if you allow me, I can tell it if you have 2 minutes. Uh,
Please,
See,
please,
when we
please.
are working in a research lab, then all the scientists, your scientists, I say the scientists are like, they have lost their mind, then they become scientists. They are 24/7, they will keep working on their, whatever they are doing the research on. So the same was happening. One day, one scientist reaches home and his wife tells, you should give time to your family and this, blah, 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 blah things. All the wife words, I believe like you can understand it. So he gives a promise to his kids on that night. Tomorrow I'll be coming early and we'll go to see the fair and we'll visit this museum too. Tomorrow at 5 I'll be at home and we'll go market. We'll go to museum, we'll see the fair, we'll have dinner outside. He comes and tells his boss, sir, today I want to leave at 4 o'clock because I need to reach home at 4:30. At 5 o'clock we need to go to, I promised my kids to, I would take them to museum and the fair nearby my home has already been there. So we need to go there. The boss says, okay. Now, at 4 o'clock, he did not leave his seat. The boss goes to his office and see if he's going to leave. He finds out he's so busy in doing the research that he did not hear the sound of his boss. He did not hear the voice and words of his boss. Then the boss thought he's not going to leave. Boss waited for the 4:45, and then boss thinks he is not going to leave. Boss goes to office and start working. Oh, the scientist is working at one place. The scientist recalls now, oh, I have to go home at 7:30. He reaches home. The wife is sitting at a dining table, not speaking much. The time he reaches, the wife brings the water and asks, would you like to have coffee? Now the man is thinking, oh, today something is going to happen. So silence, she is not saying anything. Because the wife, when wife does not say anything, so it can be a bomb blast. He kept quiet, gathered the courage and asked, where are kids? The wife said, you don't know? Said, where are kids? They've gone to see museum, you promised them. Now the man thinks, oh, the trouble is a big. She's even saying they've gone to a museum. The man asked, no, are they sleeping? Have they slept early? Are they fine? How's their mood? That wife says, they've really gone to see museum. Somebody from your office came and said, you are busy with your work, but you have promised your kids to take them to the museum. So he reached here at 4:45, took the kids at 5 o'clock to the museum fair, and now they must be returning back because he said they'll be back by 8:30, now it's 8 o'clock. They'll have a dinner and come back. And the man started thinking, who did it? Who did it? A true leader. That time, the director of that particular research lab was Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. When he found his scientists so busy, and the scientists are crazy, they can leave family, but they cannot leave their research work. So busy, he tells somebody in the office, this particular scientist has promised his kids today, go his home, take his kids to the museum, show them the fair and offer them the dinner outside. Because I don't think so that he's going to leave before 8 or 9. Leader takes care of the team. Leader takes care of everybody. So this is the key role of a leader. A one story tells everything about the leadership.
This
Reflects the
was
confidence.
absolutely fantastic, Pankaj. You know, this reminds me of a little anecdote that I shared in my first book, which I wrote, Hit Your Restart Button. And, you know, I shared when he was addressing a gathering of students at a school. A child asked this scientist, Abdul Kalamji, you know, asked that who was the first scientist on this planet? And, you know, the immediate answer from Dr. Kalam was that the first person who had a question was the first scientist on this planet. Who could give such brilliantly simple answer that a child can understand. Only someone who has this empathy, only someone who loves things very simple, and only someone who really wants to deliver. And that's who we had, an exemplary leader who we had as our president. And that's something that we need to learn from, as for wherever we look for leadership strategies. Now, the another thing that comes to my mind was that, for most part of leadership, we look for things, we look for answers in complex problems. But actually,
Complex problem, right?
the thing is, leadership starts from where you are, and leadership starts from whatever you are doing. And these exemplary people actually showed what leadership is, not by principles, or not by probably techniques and strategies, but by being who they are, by being more of who they are. And this reminds me of an Oprah Winfrey's incident when she visited Nelson Mandela in Africa, and she was having this word with him, and she said, Mr. Mandela asked her, like, what was your next plan? What do you want to do for people of this region? And she said that she had an idea of building a school here, and she was working on this idea, and that she's almost half done with this idea. And the moment Oprah had said this, the next second, Mr. Mandela walked to his telephone, gave a call to local authorities, and instructed the local authorities to meet, Miss Oprah. She was here,
Hmm.
and said that Oprah Winfrey is here and she wants to make a proposal to build a school, and you can come here right away and have a discussion with her. And Oprah was stunned to see at this, incident, because she was not ready for this. And she said, well, I'm not totally ready for this as of now for a discussion. He said nobody, and Mr. Mandela was immediately answering that, he said nobody's ever ready for that. You just have to start and it gets done. So
Right.
that's the exemplary leader that he was. You start doing. That's what we call ready, fire, and aim. So you don't
Hmm.
aim and then fire. You fire and then you aim. That's the kind of leadership that we should be looking at now. And you are very fortunate to have come across these many leaders in your life, and the kind of lives that you have been touching with. What has been your experience of training on leadership in India in the last 10 years? And what do you think is most important when it comes to leadership these days and for the forthcoming days? Where do you envision our understanding of leadership and our execution of leadership, keeping the Indian context in view?
In Indian context, if I explain about the leadership and I say like there is a one tool which every leader should have. So thank you for the nice discussion. Thank you very much, Dr. BS. And in India context, if I talk about the tool for the leadership today and the tomorrow, and even in the past, we should give, or we should first have our own way of taking a risk. See, India is lacking entrepreneurs. Why are we looking up to other countries? Why are we looking up to Western countries? Why most of the big inventions happen there? And then we beat a Facebook, it was Orkut earlier, and then Google, where the Google CEO is our very Indian man, Sundar Pichai, who is giving the new heights to the Google. Why don't we have in India? Our leaders, parents' leaders, need to get, attain, and then retain that tool to teach the kids to take a risk in life. That might be calculated risk. We need to inspire people to take risk in life. We need to inspire people to have the startups. You see, we have a lot of fear now. COVID-19 has created a fear around us. Every morning we read newspaper, we see these many people have died in India, then Europe and Western country, I mean in USA, then in China, Russia, and that is creating fear in us. Every morning we get another fear today. Old media is there, even the social media is there to create the fear in our mind. And being an Indian, we really get afraid. We get afraid the things which are told to us, and in that fear we start basically we don't start, we stop living the life we are having, we stop living the moment, we stop celebrating the moment we are having, because the fear kills it. And the same fear is there in, like, we India, it is sad, like 70 to 80% of the Indians are below poverty level or middle class people, and middle class mindset is don't take risk. They have fear of losing, and because of the fear of losing, they don't live in the moment. They really don't live in the moment. It reminds me about incident of my childhood. As I told, like, we were in the village, so in village we used to um, play in the grounds, we used to climb the trees, we used to go to agriculture land. So I myself did not have any agriculture land or any farm, but my some of my friends had it, so I used to go there. I used to go to see the farm, I used to go to enjoy the farm and to take bath under tube well, and we used to do it. So one very morning, my friend said, Pankaj, let's take today's a holiday. Let's go to a farm. Tubewell is on. Let's have a bath there. I went there, and he said we can stay there till 4 o'clock in the evening. Till 4 o'clock. I was very happy. We reached there at the farm at 10 o'clock. I enjoyed the swings. I took bath, and we enjoyed, like, it was like a short picnic. Till 2 o'clock, I enjoyed it a lot, a lot. Then my friend told me, it's just 2 hours, we have to leave this place because some animals can also come here now. The fear overtook me now. And for the next 2 hours, I kept thinking any animal will come. I kept thinking a wild dog can come. I kept thinking, oh, this and that and all. I had 2 hours to enjoy it, but I lost those 2 hours just because of fear. In the same way, we are losing our life today. We are losing the moments today. The fear of death, the fear of coronavirus. In the same way, we missed a lot of opportunities, fear of loss, fear of loss. A parent should teach us how to fight with the fear of loss. A parent should inculcate that skill to take risk, to reflect our true leadership. And I'm sure the time all Indians adopt, inculcate, achieve, retain, and sustain this tool of taking risk, tool to fight with the fear of mediocrity. Our Indians will have, our India will have a lot of entrepreneurs in coming years. We don't have to look at any other country. Our all college going students will start the companies. But today, the fear of not running a company, the fear of the company getting closed, the fear of startup failing, we don't even take steps. We are programmed to do the job. We are programmed to do then the government job. So I would say the one skill which everybody should have as a leader to fight with the fear and to take leap over the fear, take step to take a risk. Because biggest risk in the life is not taking a risk. If I had not taken a risk to start the institute, although we did not have money that time at all, I required rupees 35,000 for starting an institute right after my 12th standard. It was very difficult for me to manage 35,000, as I've told you, my family's problems and issues. If I had not taken the risk that time with rupees 35,000, which was equivalent to 35 crores of that time to me particularly, I would never have reached here. The same, I think, has happened with you, and same happened with Ratan Tata ji. Same happens with everybody. If Mukesh Ambani had thought this, Geo might fail, and I should not start it. If it fails, it is going to give us a big loss. Today we would not have got the data as very cheap price, and he would not have transformed entire India. He is the one who basically gave shape to the digital India. So this particular skill and tool as a leader we should have to fight with fear, to overcome the fear and to take risk. Biggest risk in the life is not to take a risk. Start taking risk in the life. That's what my advice to everybody who's watching this show.
Thank you, Pankaj. It was a brilliant insight that you shared from your real life experience. And yes, I fully agree with you. And I'm sure most of our people, most of our participants today will agree with us that most of the times what happens is that when the parent has did his hard work and he has achieved something good for his family and his kids, all of a sudden when the parent reaches his 40s and 50s, suddenly the parent starts thinking that I have done all the hard work, why should my child go that way again, or probably why
Hmm.
should my child take these risks again. Probably that is going to be the biggest damage that we are going to doing to the child, because instead of helping the child learn the art of fishing, we are actually giving the fish.
Fish,
And
right?
probably that's probably is the biggest damage that we could do to the learning curve of the child himself. And this reminds me, 2000 in 2002, I decided that I'm going to write a book. And I started writing a book and I finished it. I didn't have any money to have it published, and I did obviously who would publish an anonymous person from South Orissa,
Hmm.
those days I was in. So I said, like, okay, what if I get 100 rejections? But I took the manual, I took the manuscript with me. I reached Vijayawada and I went the entire publishers, all the publishers, door to
Oh,
door, and
great.
I walked to them. I said, I'm so and so, I've come from Orissa, I want to have this book. Well, I had 50 rejections, that doesn't matter. But probably I found some way and somebody found me and they helped me out. And probably in less than 6 months, I had my book released. And
Oh, great, great, wonderful.
that transformed my life. But when I look back, it is not the book that helped me. It is that path that I took. It is that risk that I took which helped me. And the greatest lesson was hidden not in the achievement, but in the process. And that process was something that transformed my
Hmm.
perspective towards life. And post which, there are a number of things which you employ this skill, this learning in. And that as you said, and probably your difficulties, your hardship was your blessing in disguise, and that's what made who you are today. That's what made who you inspire thousands of people, and that's what made you meet people like Jack Canfield, Robert Kiyosaki. And the dream comes from this hardship that you have been through. And your meeting with your mentors makes you who you are today, a master who is sharing his lessons and insights with thousands of people. And I'm sure the greatest learning that probably we can get from the last 55 minutes of conversation with you is that authenticity, communication, and risk taking are those three key nuggets that makes you a leader. And these are not those fanciful words which you understand when you understand the definition of these words. These are those qualities that when you start imbibing in your life is what starts changing your life, your family's life, your colleagues' life, your office, your professional, your personal. Probably discovers the whole range of who you are and your various roles. As Dr. Panda asked you, like what are the key roles, and probably what are not the key roles of a leader. I would say what is not the lead. A leader's first primary role is to be more of who he actually is. And
Right.
the more he starts living that, being that authentic person, probably that is what permeates across, and that is what compels the entire team to be more of who they are and to become authentic self leaders. And thank you so much, Pankaj. It was a very insightful conversation. While leaving, because we, as I said, we are robbers here and we want to rob you of your wisdom and rob you of your knowledge. I would want you to ask, what would you tell us if I asked you, what is that one book that you always look up to, in addition to Bhagavad Gita? What is that one book which really helped you understand what leadership is, or what the entire thing is, inspired you to become a leader, a transformational leader?
I have already told you when I found my purpose that transformed my life. Then there is a book of Simon Sinek, Start with Why. It answers all the questions. It really answers all the questions. And it makes you a leader because it gives you a true purpose. I would suggest everybody to read the book of the Simon Sinek, Start with Why. And I'm sure once you read it and understand the context of that, all the words written, all the stories written, and implement in your life will transform. As Ranjan has already said, it's not only yours life get transformed, then it's a life of everybody around you living with you gets transformed. Culture of your office, your business, culture of your family gets transformed. So the book Simon Sinek, Start with Why. It gives you a true spark in the life to get ahead. It's ignite your spirit. All the books comes later. He has
Absolutely
already
fantastic,
told.
Pankaj. You know, this is that one book which might have changed millions of lives, and this is one book that most entrepreneurs must have started their entrepreneurial journey with, understanding the why of their life. And Simon Sinek puts it so beautifully with great stories and examples, real life examples from across the world. You know how people in defense, they give life for each other, and what they kind of do, and why. The question is, why do they do what they do? And
Hmm.
you know, this if people are listening to us, and if people are really looking for the biggest why of their life, I would also highly recommend Alone with You, because I read this book around 6 years ago, 5 to 6 years ago, and I still remember a few incidents that we shared. And you know, this book really changed my perspective on having the why of my life. And you just nailed it with that book. And thank you so much, Pankaj, for joining us for this beautiful evening that you gifted us. And I wish you a great journey ahead,
Thank you so much.
and thank you so much for being with us. And for all those who would want to visit Pankaj, please visit his website, pankajasija.com. And he is a great speaker, great trainer, and a business coach who is always willing to coach you one on one as well. So thank you so much, Pankaj. Thank you so much for being with
Thank you
us.
so much. Thank you so much, Ranjan. Thank you so much that you gave me a chance to come here and to learn from you the way you ask the questions. You are a wonderful, wonderful interviewer. I would say you ask questions in so well. Like you really like. I have to think twice before answering. Like, what should I say this? Because these questions come from very depth and goes inside that deep, and we have to answer in deep. You are wonderful. And Ranjan has already told like you can visit to www.pankajasija.com. Tomorrow I'm having a webinar particularly for parents because I believe I bring some transformation in the parents, then everybody would get the transformation. We are we are what our parents have made us. If you want to join my webinar, tomorrow's webinar, you can come to my Facebook page, Pankaj Asija Success Coach, Pankaj Asija / Success Coach. You find it on the Facebook and get in my touch. 12:10 I have 12:10 I have my and Ranjan is I believe is posting that in the chat box my complete page URL. 12:10 afternoon 12:10 I have a session and I would request each and every mother to watch it. Most of the time kids stay with the mother, so mothers are already transforming the life. What if I tell them how to engage kids? Punk is the success course. Thank you very much, Ranjan. So do watch my webinar, and I'm sure it will give you a lot of insights about parenting. And stay in touch. Stay on my Facebook page, on my old social media, LinkedIn, and the Instagram, so that I can stay in touch with you because I've already said in the beginning of the session, I'm nothing without you. I'm nothing without you, and I'm everything with you. So I am very glad you watched this session. And if you think this has really helped you and you got some insight, do share it with your friends.
Thank you, Pankaj. Thank you so much for being with us. And yes, as you rightly said, questioning is something that I'm you know, growing better at, and probably I'm enjoying. As I said, I'm that thief, that burglar, robbing your wisdom and robbing the master's wisdom. So that was a great episode with you, and great fun learning from your insights and your experience and your wisdom. That was a great one, great learning for all of us, and a great episode, interesting, very fantastic episode of Moments with Masters for Mysticfusion International. Thank you so much, Pankaj Asija.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to you and the audience. I really loved it. And I again give my whole gratitude to you and to all the audience who are watching. I'm nothing without you. So keep supporting me, keep loving Ranjan, keep loving both of us, keep supporting us.